Welcome to Crypto Angel Network. I'm Joanna Garzilli, the founder, and I'm excited that you're here because if you are new to the world of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and you're thinking about dipping your toe in because you're seeing about it in the news, then you are in the right place, especially if you are new. Let me just clarify that what I share here is for informational and entertainment purposes only. This is not investment advice. And you do not want to take investment advice from me because I am just getting out of being a crypto virgin. And that's what I'm going to share with you today about being a crypto virgin and the first time that I heard about cryptocurrency and the first time that I went onto an exchange and bought it and what that was like. And I mean, it's been a roller coaster. I first went into cryptocurrency in December 2017, and now it is end of January 2021. So this is my first video here, and I have been studying a lot in crypto, and I have a fascination with the investment side of it, with a term called HODLing. I also am interested in day trading. I have been learning a lot about the different exchanges. There are some brilliant resources out there. There are some people that I absolutely adore following, who I follow on YouTube. So definitely, please go ahead and like this video if you enjoy it. I trust you're going to enjoy what I'm going to share. It is going to be worth sticking around, I promise you. And also to subscribe to Crypto Angel Network. Connect with Crypto Angel Network on Instagram, on Twitter. Make sure to stay connected with me because I'm going to be sharing some great stories on cryptoangel.network that will lighten your heart and take away the stress around crypto. I'm also going to be sharing Crypto Angel life stories. So my background is as a spiritual author. My expertise is spirituality, self-help. I am the author of a book called Big Miracles, the 11 Spiritual Rules for Ultimate Success. I'm also the author of Unleash the Psychic in You. I've been doing intuitive and psychic readings for over 20 years. And I've done readings for Monica Lewinsky and Goldie Hawn and Jenna Dwayne and Ernie Banks, Hall of Fame, lots of different people. If I could tell you exactly what was going to happen in Bitcoin, oh my goodness, right? I would be a multi-millionaire. No, I would be a billionaire by now, I think, if I knew exactly how the market was going to go. So although I will share another time that one prediction I made for myself that I was pretty spot on with. So I'm going to be practicing and seeing how can I use my intuition combined with the analytical tools of crypto to be able to make the right choices in terms of investing into crypto. So let me just go back here to 2017, December 2017. I was teaching psychic development, Unleash the Psychic in You psychic development class, and meditation classes at Mystic Journey Yoga in Venice, California, where I was living close to there at the time in Santa Monica. And Whole Foods Venice was a stone's throw away. And outside there were people would go and hang out and get their food from, from the Whole Foods food bar. And I would overhear these conversations about cryptocurrency and about Bitcoin. A lot of the Bitcoin community and blockchain community live over in that area. So I started hearing about little snippets of conversations. And then there's this New York Times bestselling author, James Altucher. And somehow, I don't know how, but something came up on social media and he was talking all about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And so that was what piqued my interest. But as I said before, I was a total crypto virgin. And wow, did I learn a lesson. So long and the short of it, one evening when I came out of teaching at Mystic Journey, and I overheard a couple of people talking about crypto once again, sitting outside, and I plucked up the courage to insert myself into the conversation. And I said, well, tell me a bit more about Bitcoin. You know, I've started hearing about this. And actually my husband, Nick, he had mentioned how a friend of his back in 2013 had said, go and buy Bitcoin. And that's when it was only a few dollars, right? So that was the starting point. And let me just gather my thoughts here. Anyway, so I sat down at the table with these Bitcoin investors, and one of them was just exiting. They had just sold their Bitcoin. They had gone in when it was in the hundreds, and now it was in the high thousands, right? Heading up towards 20,000 of its all-time high. And they were saying, that's it, I'm done. I've made my money, I've made my millions, and it's going to crash. And so they advised me not to go into it. And then the other person that was there, who knew the founder of Ethereum and was very friendly with people in the blockchain space, said, wow, what a great time to get in. So I think it wouldn't have mattered what either one of them said to me. I knew I wanted into it anyway. It was something that fascinated me. But I think it was more, just there were things that I was curious about that I didn't understand at that point. So I went home, I got this a book from James Altucher about 101 cryptocurrency and how to make a fortune in it. Well, I mean, for a start, anyone that says that you can make a fortune within a space that is highly volatile, I think that, let me just say this, the biggest thing that I have learned is that that there is no quick way to be able to make money in crypto. I mean, if you do, you're lucky really. But the majority of people at this point in time, from my understanding, who are successful within the crypto space is because they have been plugging away at it. They have studied day trading, or they are working directly within the blockchain space as developers, as engineers, as VCs. So it's very, very important, if you're entirely new to this space, to do your due diligence first and start really, really small. That is the advice I would give to a crypto virgin, to myself back at the end of 2017. So anyway, so I got James Altucher's book. I flew through that. I signed up to a newsletter of his that was a couple of $100s a month. And he was very enthusiastic about certain altcoins. And I'll talk more about altcoins in another video. But the long and the short of it, you know, I looked at what he was sharing and the cryptocurrency, these analytical charts, and it showed Bitcoin was skyrocketing. And so I was desperate to get in on a trade. I was desperate to make my first trade. And back in 2017, it was, for me anyway, and I can't even imagine what it was like in 2012, 2013, I wanted to get in and make my first trades. And it's not like you just go and buy something with a debit card or a credit card. You have to get signed up to an exchange. So Altucher was recommending Kraken. He said there was this new currency at the time coming along, under an altcoin called XRP Ripple, and to get in there. And I saw, I think at the time the price was around 14 cents, and I wanted in. So I was trying to get an account on Kraken. The system kept going down. There were people who had accounts, traders who already had an account on Kraken Exchange. Kraken is a Californian exchange. It is, my understanding, it is US regulated. And I'm also going to be showing on future videos, especially if you are a US citizen, that you need to be extremely careful about what exchange you sign up for. I'm going to go into more detail about that. So let me just say this. If you are a US citizen, the number one place I would start to get an exchange if I was going right from day one is I would start with Coinbase and then later on move on to Coinbase Pro. Another thing I want to say before I share more about my first trades is that I see some people out there, as I've been researching and now finally doing due diligence instead of making blind trades like I did when I started, and that there are some people that are giving advice to go on certain trades, or they are saying, just get a VPN which hides your IP address to get on a certain exchange to make trades. And that is a very, very dangerous thing to do, because you can lose all your money, your account can be frozen, you can get into big trouble with the IRS. So please be very, 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 very careful. And so let me just go back to Kraken Exchange here. So Kraken now is much more user friendly. This is coming from, for someone who's a professional trader, it's great. But for someone like me that has no trading background, who is an author and a spiritual coach, it was extremely challenging. So I kept trying to sign up for an account. I couldn't get an account. I was looking, I think it was on Cointelegraph, where you could, and Coin Exchange, where you can see the particular currency, what it is doing. And I saw XRP just going up and up and up. And I had no understanding of how the market works, that if it goes up, it can also come down, that there are things called retracements where normally what goes up does come down, and I've been learning a lot of this from Crypto, who I just love watching his videos. He's brilliant, his energy is absolutely fabulous, and I've been learning a lot from him in terms of the charts and how that works. Now, some people, I've seen a couple of crypto educators out there that say there is no need to look at graphs and charts or any analytics, and that there is no pattern. And I personally, from my experience, I disagree with that. And I will be sharing more about that another time and going into more details. I will be, in this video, I'm not going to share anything from my screen, but I will be walking through on certain videos. I'll be showing you why I feel how I feel about this process. So Kraken, I could not for the life of me, even though I am relatively tech savvy, I couldn't get an account set up. But I was like a frantic woman. I had fear of missing out. I needed to get my XRP. I wanted to get these altcoins that Alt Teacher was talking about, even though I had done no due diligence on them. Do your due diligence, really do your research. Don't just go off of the news. Don't just go off of what certain crypto influencers say. However, like I said before, Crypto, I am a big fan of him, of Chris, and also Ivan on tech as well is excellent. I find that what they share and their insights as professional traders are very parallel. They go very hand in hand. And then, of course, you have to make your own decisions. So at the time, I started researching other exchanges, and I came across two exchanges that I ended up getting on. The first one was Bittrex, and that is also a US exchange. And so I got an account on that. But what happened was, some of these coins, these altcoins that I was trying to get, some were on Bittrex and some weren't. So XRP Ripple was on Bittrex, but I think it was Agor was another one that was recommended at the time, and Tron, which I understand now Tron has gone totally defunct. Those other more what I would call obscure altcoins were on another exchange I found, a Chinese exchange, which I love the functionality of it, called Binance. So I simultaneously, I got an account on Binance, I got an account on Bittrex, and my favorite, as I said, was to use was Binance. And you know, when I first hopped onto the exchange, I understood absolutely, I mean, it was like looking at hieroglyphs or something, you know, or some type of, I don't know, I feel like it was like uncovering something from Indiana Jones with some cryptic language when I was looking at from inside the exchanges. I had absolutely no clue. It was terrifying to me. The other exchange I got on at the same time was Coinbase, but at that point, Coinbase literally, it just had, gosh, it had Bitcoin, it had Ethereum, and then it added on Litecoin and a couple of other things. It didn't have XRP on there at the time. It didn't have the majority of coins. It was, you know, it kept very, very simple. So I went onto Binance. I understood nothing about the chart. I just, it was totally over. I don't even know, if I think back to how did I even do the trades? I mean, it just like, it was just like stabbing in the dark. It's like trying to get it done. So somehow I got my account on Binance, and I bought, I think in the end, 14 different coins on there. And I think I did 3 different coins on Bittrex. I'm going to check with that in future. I will go and look back, and I will actually show you what I did and what those trades were at the time, and in more detail, because I'm just going off of memory here. And so I did the trades, and unfortunately I bought when Bitcoin and Ethereum were hitting their all-time high, and those altcoins were bullish, right? When they were doing really well, then they were doing really strong. And then everything went bearish, meaning it started to retract, and that strength wasn't there. I didn't understand that you have altcoin season and Bitcoin season, and a season for Ethereum, and that when Bitcoin is doing well, Ethereum isn't so strong, and when Ethereum is really strong, then Bitcoin is more bearish. I mean, these are all things like I had no understanding of any of this stuff. And if you are new and you're listening to this first time, it is going to sound like a foreign language to you. But I am going to be explaining these different things. Like I said, in upcoming videos, I will break them down piece by piece so that you can start to build confidence within the space. Because I feel that to anyone that goes, gosh, they missed the boat back from 2000, you know, back originally in 2011, 12, 13, and that peak was 17. I would say now that this is an incredible time, that even right at the beginning of 2021, if there ever was a time to move into, to dip one's toe into the world of cryptocurrency, it is not too late. It is still the early phases. It is a beautiful time to enter into it. And that is why I am in this space. And every time I have got scared or overwhelmed or thought, I can't do this, and I sit down and I do my morning pages from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, everything pulls me back to it. When I write an encouraging message to myself, it is, Joanna, you need to be in this space. So I actually had originally got the cryptoangel.network, had started this back in the beginning of 2018. But then because when everything crashed, I thought, I feel like an absolute fool. I have no idea how to do this. And so I just stopped with it. I went back on the side. I didn't even actually go back on the sidelines. I became an absolute bear, and I just went into hibernation for 3 years. So when I had logged into the Bittrex and Binance accounts, and at the time, I have to check exactly, I think it was, we put maybe $2,500, $3,000 into it, doing trades blind. Oh, Joanna, what were you doing? What you were doing? Oh my goodness, don't do that. Don't do what I did, because I got swept up in the excitement of things. And I listened to someone who, and again, you know, I mean, I was angry at James Altucher for a time. I was really annoyed with him, but it's not his fault. It was my fault. You know, I have to listen to my instincts. So listen to your instincts, use your intuition, and then use statistics, use your common sense, right? So you want to use a combination of what feels right with you combined with facts, right? With facts, with clear information. So yeah, so our balances went down almost to zero. And after having done those trades, yeah, I mean, I feel like I sort of had PTSD from going on the exchanges. I mean, that's it. So I just went back to doing my thing, doing my spiritual coaching, doing my books, doing my workshops, all of that. And fast forward to 2020. October 2020, I got an email from Binance saying if you are a US citizen, your account is going to be closed down in 2 weeks. So you need to be able to get everything out of your account. And actually, a few weeks before that, when Bitcoin was at 10,000, and Nick was saying to me, you know, we really should move our money out of the other accounts and put it into, you know, transfer it, make it Bitcoin, because we had these different altcoins. But I was totally overwhelmed. I thought, it's going to take me hours to figure out how to go and do these trades in the Binance and Bittrex exchange, because it wasn't US dollar. For example, I would have to say, take XRP and convert XRP in the Binance exchange to Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then I would have to send that using an address, a wallet address, and then send that over to Coinbase. And I'd heard a lot about how people, if they put a wrong digit in, that they would lose their money that they had. So I put off doing that for about a month and a half, which was really stupid, because if I'd taken action with that, we would have had Bitcoin at a better price. Anyway, let me just think about this a moment. Let me just take a moment to just think about what happened with Binance. So I eventually mustered up the courage to go into Binance, because I had a 2-week deadline, and I just started to figure out how to do these trades. I didn't understand what any of it was. I just had no idea. I try and place an order and then it would kick me out. I didn't understand about market order or limit buys, none of it. I had no clue at all. I would go and look at videos on YouTube, try and figure it out, still be overwhelmed. But somehow I just sat through it and Binance, and it was really just troubleshooting. And for someone who's a professional trader, yes, they would totally laugh that it took me 5 hours to figure out how to go and do a trade again in Binance, because I was very rusty. But I did it. I managed to, what I did in Binance, of all the different currencies that I had, I converted it all to Bitcoin. And then I took that Bitcoin from Binance and I moved it over to Coinbase. And then I went into Bittrex and I converted everything. Again, I traded everything, all the different coins I had in there, to Bitcoin. And then I moved that over to my Coinbase wallet. And so I started then doing trades in Coinbase. And in Coinbase, this is my main intention. Let me go back a step here again with why I am doing Crypto Angel Network, is because I want to help you to expand your consciousness around this and not be frightened by it like I was. And something interesting that I see is happening for me, and how I am actually growing spiritually as a human being from being in the crypto space. How, Joanna, how is that possible? I will explain more about that as the weeks progress. So Coinbase, well, let me give you an example. So when I went into Coinbase, and now Coinbase, from what it was back in 2017 compared to when I started using it in the fall and winter of 2020, it's like night and day. It is so much easier to use. I mean, really, it is pretty easy to use. And now at the same time, PayPal have invested heavily into the crypto space. You can now buy Bitcoin on PayPal as well. Square, they have also invested into cryptocurrency. We have cryptocurrency credit cards and debit cards that be coming out. It is just a matter of time before we move more and more towards digital cash. So in my personal, humble opinion, I believe that digital currency is absolutely the future. And I just want to share one thing with you here a moment that I don't know if you can see this at all. I'm reading this book right now by Finn Brunton, Digital Cash. And it is fascinating because, I've not really been understanding about this idea of why a Bitcoin and how, like, what does it mean with all these different altcoins and smart contracts? What does this all mean? But a couple of things I just want to share with you here from my notes. This was really, really powerful, and why I feel that Bitcoin, and so Bitcoin as is digital gold. And I got this quote I'm understanding from Michael Saylor, who has invested in this past year in 2020, put over $1 billion into Bitcoin. And then he refers to Ethereum as digital oil. And some of these things, it's been really hard for me to get my head around. Like, it's just something for me at an intuitive level where something in my soul says, Joanna, be in this space, be in this crypto space. It is a soul calling for me. So let me just, something that was like a, that was what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to do it because I'm such a rubbishy singer, is that a couple of these concepts from Finn Brunton are that money is a measurement tool, right? And, historically we have printed money, and now we are moving to more and more of a cashless society. I believe eventually we will be totally cashless. And especially when you look at what's happened worldwide, and with the lockdowns, and with keeping people healthy, people from not wanting to spread germs by holding physical cash, that this is another reason why governments are going to move more and more towards a digital currency. But also because digital cash is going to be more efficient. And for the past 10 years, I think that cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, these different altcoins have been more of a space for speculative trading. But what we are in the infancy of, and I believe in this next 10 years, we're going to see an explosion into digital forms having major uses, right? We are moving towards Web 3.0, where we are moving away from a centralized internet. We will still have centralized internet, but I would say eventually we will move towards this decentralized internet. And especially if you think about what is happening in terms of development within space, and moving beyond the realm of Earth. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. So let me just go back to this idea of where Finn Brunton blew my mind here, and he talked about dollars, and this idea that, and I'm just giving an example here of US dollars, right? I mean, you could say British pounds, you could say German Deutschmarks, you could say Japanese yen, but let's just go with US dollars here. That if you have US dollars and you use US dollars in some form, that means you have an allegiance to the USA, and that you are part of that transactional community. And that we could take that exact same principle for what is happening now for people who own Bitcoin, for people who own Ethereum, for people who own, and this is my favorite altcoin, and I will share in another video about Graph, GRT. That for me, like Graph, I believe is the future Google. It is. That's something that I feel on a deeply gut instinct level. So my three main positions that I have are mostly Bitcoin, secondly Ethereum, and third Graph, GRT. Those are my long-term holds. I am not giving them up, absolutely not. So this idea of going from physical printed money to where we moved into the computational age, right? So we have digital, but we know when we send a bank wire, I mean, it can take days. One time my mom was sending me money from England. It got lost from the wire. Neither bank was taking responsibility. It was a nightmare. It took 2 weeks to get that money. And then there's the high fees that were charged with doing that wire. Whereas now, as we move towards digital exchanges, the speed and the ease of those transactions is incredible. And there are what I would call crypto angels out there who are working hard to bring this ease of use for all of us and to give us this incredible freedom, empowering us through blockchain. And so incredible things. I mean, there are some people who have, I see within the space, who have had this vision. And I'm going to go back to Graph GRT here, Yaniv Tal, who is one of the co-founders of Graph. I was just blown away by his presentation of creating Web 3.0. It is just absolutely phenomenal. And then I saw all the people who are doing what are called staking the Graph network. And so staking is a form of, and again, in my simple, basic, average person understanding here, I'm no blockchain developer or expert at all, is that they verify this network. These developers, and they are building this network which is going to make our lives much easier in the future. But there are a number of people out there in the DeFi, decentralized finance space, who have taken big risks and have really dedicated their lives to developing this future of finance. So when there are articles that come out, in the media, or there's some there's something of Bitcoin, people who have Bitcoin, beware, or altcoins, it's just a scam. I absolutely, utterly disagree with that. It makes me angry because people within the blockchain space and who are really creating the future of a better financial system, that to say that this is just a scam, or that Bitcoin doesn't have a future, or it is just, I just feel it is unfair and it is wrong. So this is another reason why I am in this space, entering into this space as well as a crypto virgin. But little by little, day by day, I am learning more and more and more, because I have an absolute passion for it. And something that, there's this brilliant video that Crypto interviewed Michael Saylor. And what I love was Michael Saylor, how he talked about that when he goes to sleep at night, when he wakes up in the middle of the night, he is trying to figure out how can he get more Bitcoin, because I feel like he has that innate knowing about what it is, and a lot of people I see in the crypto space, they really are visionary. Now, with that being said, also there are scammers out there. There are people who are using it to gamble. There are people who are very snake oilish in the space too. So you really want to make sure that whoever you listen to listen to multiple people, and then ultimately, I know I'm going to say it over and over and over again, do your due diligence. If you're going into making your buying your first little bit of Bitcoin, even that small bit of Bitcoin for the first time, just go small. Get a Coinbase account, get a Coinbase account. And then from there, just start off with getting $10 worth, even if it's just a minuscule amount, because, that will help you build your confidence. Every time that I would go and do a trade, I would go through an immense feeling of discomfort and despondency. I would feel incredibly overwhelmed and uncomfortable, and then just go, that's it, I'm not doing it anymore. But then I would get up the next day and I feel compelled. It's just compelled to be in this space. It is definitely a spiritual calling for me. So let me just go back to briefly, I'm just going to share a couple more things so that I, do not totally overwhelm you here with what I'm sharing. And you might want to go back and re-watch this video, re-listen to what I'm saying so that you can expand your crypto consciousness. That is my intention, especially if you are new to this space. So, digital signatures, right? As we move into this idea of how currencies, and let's just look at, say, PayPal for an example, right? So PayPal, where you are able to pay in cryptocurrency with PayPal, and you're able to be paid in cryptocurrency as well, right? So we're using their digital signatures, and that the speed and efficacy of verifying these digital signatures is just going to get faster and faster. And so the components of that I understand are, and I'm just going in the most simplistic form here, is coding, right? So we've got coding, ciphering, encryption, decryption, and then those matching keys. And so this is what underlies blockchain, right? So where one, like, what does it mean to verify the network? My understanding is these different numbers or these different words that get put together that then authenticate when you say, I own this and I want to transfer this to you, and then I'm handing the ownership over to you. So the idea of when you want to authenticate that money or your ownership of something is real, and then you want to make a transaction, the idea that Finn Brunton gives is that it should be unique but repeatable. And I think this is the big breakthrough, this idea of how can we create a unique signature that is repeatable. And this would be through a digital key, a private key corresponding to a public key. So where you have a written signature that is similar without being able to be replicated, right? So that you don't have illegal money, right? Money laundering taking place digitally. And that is something that I think is incredibly powerful that blockchain is doing. And my understanding is eventually we are going to see many different forms of digital currency where we do not yet know what country will be the first one to have its own digital currency, right? So we have US dollar coin, we have like US Tether, but we don't yet have an official digital coin that replaces, say, the US $1 bill or the $20 bill. But my understanding is that these things are in the works. And so it's not a matter of if Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to go mainstream, it is just when. So I feel that within this next 3 years, I mean, we're really, by the time we get to 2024, 2025, I believe we will see mass adoption of cryptocurrency. And gosh, who was I listening to? Was it Michael Saylor, I think, on MMM Crypto's interview, talking about how Apple, when Apple, you know, before we had iPhones, right, we did not have apps. We didn't have the apps. And that first iteration of the iOS system and being able to use apps, at first it cost so much money to build apps. The apps didn't work well. There were hardly any apps. And now how many apps do we have? How used to are we to using apps? Now you can get an app for a very, very low price. It's very, very normal. And I think that exactly what happened with Apple in in the technology space is what's going to happen with cryptocurrency. So Crypto, he had said, because like I said, I watch all his videos, I just love his energy. And he said, if there's one thing that you do, go out and make sure you HODL, HODL, which means hold, you buy and hold 0.3 of a Bitcoin. So that's where I'm at now. I have 0.3 of a Bitcoin. There was a journey to get to that. Another time I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm going to share with you from what it's like setting up your account to how I went from using Coinbase to using Coinbase Pro. As I started getting used to using Coinbase, I then started to wonder, you know, see the fees were higher. And then I started thinking, well, how can I save more in fees? And then I discovered that the fees are much less on Coinbase Pro. So anyway, I'm going to be sharing with you some different things that I have found have worked for me. And of course, ultimately, you have to do what's right for you. But I would recommend that you initially don't take any buying action right away. If you decide to go very, 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 very small, like I said, start off with doing $10, even a dollar, just go really, really, really small. Do not do anything that is risky. And especially, you know, you have to be able to, if you're putting your money into cryptocurrency, you have to be able to afford to lose it. So, you know, it is definitely something that is hair raising. But what I will share is a couple of positive things is, you know, overall, the portfolio that I have now is positive. It is, you know, that going back to 2020, from when before I was despondent when I'd opened in Bittrex and Binance and the accounts had almost gone to zero because I hadn't done anything with them and I just hodled and I didn't understand I was hodling, I was holding, then that money came back. So I ended up having several $100s left. So I lost, I guess, probably around 2/3 of the money, but then I moved over to the Coinbase account. My Coinbase account went up, and then from there, from holding that increased in value again. So thankfully, my portfolio is currently positive. And what I've learned, couple of big things I've learned: do not panic buy and do not panic sell. Once you do have Bitcoin, my understanding is just to hold. So I'm just holding on to my Bitcoin. I'm holding it. Leverage trading, you know, margin trades, that's a whole nother thing. And I will be sharing about that more in another video, many more details, because I did extensive research on that. And if you're a US citizen, my understanding is the only exchange that it is safe to use is Kraken. And Kraken, I feel, is a beast to go. Like, for someone that I'm like, oh my God, how do I go and move this money over to Kraken to be able to trade? I've got to, at this point where I am at today, I need to gear up to do that. I'm gonna do it, but I'm not ready yet. And you can do what's called leverage 5x trading on there. But you know, there's these other wonderful exchanges out there that other crypto leaders are sharing, like Bybit and Femex, which look absolutely, I just love their charts and the use of it. But as a US citizen, I am not allowed to use it because of the SEC, right? The Securities Exchange Commission does not allow it. It is the same for the United Kingdom as well. So, you know, really do your due diligence. There is a site which is called, someone who's they're promoting Bit7. And this person is saying that you can use Bit7 to do leverage trading. But what Bit7 doesn't say on their site, they do not have it listed there that that they are regulated, you know, they have to be regulated, and that leverage trading is not allowed. So please be really, 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 really careful. And this is why I say, as a US citizen, if you're starting out, I would recommend doing, even if you have to pay more in fees, it is worth it not to get into trouble with the IRS, is to use Coinbase. And then later on, as you build confidence, you can go on to Coinbase Pro, right, which is a professional trading platform. So, oh my goodness, there are so many other things I have to share with you, and I am going to be doing many other videos here on these different components, you know, separate videos that focus on specific things. This is my big, here I am, evolving from a crypto virgin to a crypto angel. I am a crypto angel in the works, and I'm really excited to bring you interviews with people who I see are crypto leaders, you know, crypto archangels in this space. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is that I picked an angel card for those of you who are new to the space, right? It is the strength card here. And I would say that, you know, we all start somewhere. That oak tree pops into my mind. And this idea of, as a crypto virgin, I was this little acorn. Right now I'm a sapling, but I see the blueprint of becoming an oak tree. I see that. So whatever strength means to you, and I encourage you to just know that part of the journey, part of strengthening, is to just keep showing up, even when it feels overwhelming. If you have an interest in cryptocurrency and you are interested in this idea of we are moving towards a digital financial society, and that you want to be able to be successful within the space. When I say successful, just mean that you feel you can navigate it. And for those of you that have been displaced by your industry, what an incredible way to be able to learn. For example, Ivan on Tech has a number of different courses on how to learn about blockchain, and has many different jobs that are listed within the blockchain space. So if you have been displaced from your industry and you are looking for something new to move into, decentralized finance, blockchain could be a wonderful area for you to explore. You know, not necessarily like if you don't want to go into day trading, which is quite risky. Well, it's highly risky. Okay, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, please share it, subscribe to Crypto Angel Network. You can visit cryptoangel.network and see my blog there, my journey of crypto unfolding. I imagine that a year from now, I'm going to look back on this video and go, wow. I mean, I'm hoping that's what's going to happen, that I will have come a long way by then. And I'm hoping that if you stick with this as well, with this journey, that you will get to where you want to get to in your crypto journey. All right, I'm Joanna Garzilli. Thank you for being part of Crypto Angel Network, and I'll see you next time.